I like Todd much better when he was topless.
The Evening Edge with Todd Hollst.
Call Todd now, 937-457-1290, or message him now at Evening Edge Todd.
Often irreverent, seriously funny.
Oh, Cheez-It, you're so fine, a perfect snack for any time. Hey, Cheez-It. Hey, Cheez-It. Oh, Cheez-It, you're so fine with tastiness that blows my mind. Hey, Cheez-It. Hey, Cheez-It. Oh, Cheez-It, you're so fine. Dayton made it so divine. Hey, Cheez-It.
Back here on the Evening Edge, Monday through Friday from 6 to 8. We are on our petition, our Cheez-It statue petition. 942 signatures. Now, I'm looking for 1,000, and I know that we can do it. I think we started this in maybe November? I have to go back and look. I don't remember exactly when, but, in a couple of months, that's not bad. Almost 1,000 signatures. Once I get that, I'm going to print out all those signatures, and I'm going to take them to Michigan to the Cheez-It World Headquarters. And the reason I'm doing it in person, as I've mentioned on the show, the people at Cheez-It, I know who the brand manager is. The senior brand manager and one of the other Cheez-It brand managers. I found them on the LinkedIn. And they're not responding to my emails. And I'm sending them direct emails. I have tweeted at them. I have tagged them in Facebook posts. I've tagged them in Instagram. And they just ignore me. They ignore me. They've not returned messages. Now, candidly, I've only called each one once. But I don't want to become a stalker, right? I don't want to show up at the Kellogg's World Headquarters and at the guard station there's a picture of yours truly saying, if you see this crackpot coming in, tackle him, tase him, take him to the Cheez-It jail. But that's the plan, is I'm going to get all of these signatures, and I'm going to take them to Michigan, to their world headquarters, and I'm going to try to make my case that they need to get on board and help us create and build a statue to Cheez-It, which was, of course, invented here in 1921. The Green and Green Company, they did it right here. And, in fact, they did it on May 23rd of 1921. That's when they trademarked the name. Which brings me to another point. I posted on Facebook that there's going to be a Cheez-It-related event on May 23rd. And people immediately, they were like, oh, what's happening? What's going on? I don't know. All I know is that that's the day that they trademarked Cheez-It. And this show is almost like a community. Hardcore edgeheads. It's like, this is our community. So I want ideas from you on how we could celebrate May 23rd. And we should do it every year. Remember, if you grew up here, you'll remember downtown Dayton days. And it was a big deal where people would go downtown and they'd shop at all the different stores that used to be there. But that day coincided with a day in October. And nobody knows what that was. Well, some people do. I do. It almost always coincided with Jonathan Dayton's birthday. The man that this city was named after. So I feel like May 23rd should become a recognized holiday or celebration here in Dayton. It's right before Memorial Day weekend. People would love it. So I want ideas on what we could do to celebrate Cheez-It. Should it be Cheez-It Palooza? Cheez-It Fest? 937-457-1290. Tammy in Inglewood. What's up, Tammy?
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. What's shaking in Inglewood? Happy New Year, by the way.
Oh, well, thank you. You too. Not a whole lot. Just got done eating at Outback.
Oh, did you get the bloomin' onion?
I did not.
Oh, man.
No,
Those
I
are
didn't.
good. Those are
I
yummy.
got a good steak, though.
Good. I'm glad. So what's going on?
So anyway, this whole Cheez-It thing, I listen to you every day, and this whole Cheez-It thing.
It's a saga. The Cheez-It saga.
I know. And I've been listening to it since you started it. So if you get your 1,000 names and you get it passed by the people in Michigan,
Yeah.
I can sculpt that for you. I'm a portrait sculptor, but I can sculpt Cheez-It for you.
Now, okay, a sculpture. Are we talking statue or are we talking sculpture?
We're talking a prototype to where they make the sculpture from, or the statue from.
Oh, my God. Tammy, can you hang on the line?
I most certainly can.
We've got the news here, but I have an idea, and I thought about it over the weekend for a statue and how the statue should look. I would love to get your take. Can you hold on?
Sure.
Can you hold on for 1 second? All right.
I most certainly can.
Hold on, and I'm going to talk to you after the news. Hang tight. Yeah, I mean, I think this is going to be huge, and I think she's going to like this idea. I promise.
The Evening Edge with Todd Hollst.
Call Todd now, 937-457-1290, or message him at Evening Edge Todd.
Locally grown, seriously funny on WHIO.
Don't give me that politics, Jazz. It's not my racket.
People are tired of hearing nothing but doom and despair on the radio.
Everyone just relax, all right?
The problems of the world are not in my department.
Now who'd like a cookie?
It's the Evening Edge with Todd Hollst.
Call me at 457-1290.
Locally grown, seriously funny on WHIO.
Back here on the Evening Edge, Monday through Friday from 6 to 8. Coming up, we're going to have a wrap-up of some of the top stories from 2022. Specifically, like things that I cover. Florida man, Florida woman stories, naked news. We have a Damn It Dog story of the year. And so much more, plus sort of a recap of cars crashing into buildings. And we had another one happen today, which we will get into. But right now, 937-457-1290. I'm talking to Tammy in Inglewood. Tammy, thanks for hanging on.
Hey, not a problem.
Now, Tammy is I'm assuming you're some sort of artiste or designer?
I'm a sculptor.
Oh, there you go. Well, so you're an artist.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah. So you said that you could sculpt maybe a design or something for a Cheez-It monument for Dayton, correct?
Yes.
All right.
I can sculpt whatever you want.
So here's my idea. This is my idea.
Okay.
Over the week, I was thinking about this. When I was talking about this, one of the many times I've talked about Cheez-Its. I mean, let's be honest, I've pounded it into the ground.
Yeah, but it's great.
Yeah. I could be talking about Ritz. Not as exciting.
No.
I was talking about the statue, and somebody made hopped on their Photoshop, and it was brilliant. It was beautiful. It was wonderful. It was the touchdown Jesus at that church there on 75 holding a giant Cheez-It cracker. Now, I thought, well, that's pretty cool. But I don't think we're going to get them to allow us to put a Cheez-It in the hands of God.
I don't think so.
So my thought was, what if we did this? A statue that is part man and part woman. And what I mean by that is this, okay? It's somebody standing up, and they have their arms up like the touchdown Jesus. They have their arms up, and they're holding a giant Cheez-It. But on one side of the statue, it's a man.
Okay.
On the other side of the statue, it's a woman, and it could become known as the Daytonian Cheez-It statue. And those are Daytonians. Daytonians have been on top of innovation for years and decades and centuries. We have led the way.
Yes.
And I think it would not only be a great tribute to Cheez-It, but also to the city of Dayton and the hard-working men and women who have led innovation for centuries. So it would think of, have you seen the Rocky statue?
Yeah.
Right? After he's up there and he's got the boxing gloves.
Yeah.
Think of that, all right? But on the other side, a woman, her face, her body,
Yep.
All right. And then they're both holding up a Cheez-It. Now, what do you think of that?
I'm a portrait sculptor, so I can do men and I can do women.
See, this is what I'm saying, and we would encompass all of it. We would encompass the spirit of innovation of the hardworking men and women here in Dayton, and we'd also highlight the Cheez-It.
And you have somebody that came up with a design?
I came up with it.
Oh, you came up with it.
That was my idea.
Okay.
Tammy, I dreamt it. I absolutely dreamt it.
Okay.
I dreamt it.
Okay. So half woman, half man.
Right. So basically, it's like, let's say you
both having Cheez-Its in their hand.
One Cheez-It. Their arms are the same.
One.
Yeah. So it's think of it this way. Okay. This is going to sound really crazy, but just hear me out. Let's say you took a Barbie doll.
Okay.
All right, and cut her. You like midsection. You cut her right in half. All right?
Oh, okay.
And then you cut the Ken doll. And then you put them back to back, right? So you got the Ken doll on one side and the Barbie doll on the other side.
Okay.
And it's one body, but
with one arm up in the middle.
With two arms, but I don't know how else to put it. It's two arms, but it's just two arms. It's not four arms. It's not some sort of alien. It's two arms.
So they don't have their outside arms, and then one in the middle that's both of their arms?
Both arms are both of their arms. It's like half man, half woman.
You would definitely have to send me a picture of that.
Okay.
But I can sculpt whatever it is.
See, I love that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, hang on the line again, and I'm going to have Will get your telephone number and your contact info, okay?
Okay.
And then I will reach out to you. And I think I'd like, because you know what I would like? Like so many other art projects the communities do, they ask people to submit ideas.
Yes.
So maybe we could do that. We could say, here, this was Todd's idea, and Tammy made it a reality because Todd has no artistic ability when it comes to drawing.
Okay.
I have absolutely none. But then we could say, hey, if you have ideas, sketch it out and send it to us, and we'll put it up on a gallery, and people can take a look at them and vote and comment.
And then I can sculpt it.
There you go. See, this is what I'm saying. Saying.
I tried to get a hold of you a couple months ago just to tell you that I could do that, but I didn't get through. I was surprised I got through. But,
well, you can always find me on social media or email me at eveningedgetodd@gmail.com.
Yep.
All right. Well, hang on the line. I'll get your details, and I'll be in touch with you.
Well, I'm excited now.
Well, so am I.
It might happen.
Yes. We're going to make it happen one way or the other. Because here's the bottom line, Tammy. We don't need Cheez-It to do this. It's not like this is contingent on Cheez-It saying yay or nay. All right?
Yeah.
We can do it whether or not they're on board or not. What I'm hoping...
Who's the Michigan person, though?
It's some brand manager. Just somebody who handles Cheez-It. But the thing is like, if they would say, hey, we love this idea, here's $10,000, well, then we don't have to raise a bunch of money.
Exactly.
Right? But if they're not interested, then it's going to have to be grassroots, and we're going to have to raise money to try to get this done. Which I'm fine.
The bronze part is expensive, so doing it in bronze is where you need to raise the money for.
We should do it in cheese.
You can't do it in cheese. I could sculpt it in cheese. I don't know how long
you know what?
lasts.
Those could be souvenirs. a cheese sculpture of the Cheez-It statue. I love that.
How many people would want one of those?
I know. People will love it. They'd melt it right there on crackers. All right,
There
Tammy, hang on the line. I'll get your details, and I'll be in touch.
Awesome.
All right, thank you. There you go. Now, see, I feel like we're moving in the right direction. And I sent an email to somebody today here locally. I'm not gonna out them here on the show, who has something to do with local history. And I was like, this is the year that I'm going to make it happen. 2023 is the year that this is going to happen. I've been talking about it since 2021, since the 100th anniversary. And I'm tired of screwing around with this. I want a statue or something, some sort of marker We don't have that, and we should. We absolutely should. We have an update on cars crashing into buildings.
Your crashed car.
In local news, a spectacular car crash.
House car.
All right. So if you keep track of these at home, and I know many of you do because you send me messages on Facebook and emails, and you're like, hey, somebody else crashed into a building. We ended 2022 with, I announced, I think my last show, 80. We had 80 for 2022. However, while I was on vacation recovering from COVID, I got an email. Actually, I think I got an email from the person who's on hold on line 2. That's funny. Yeah. Missy from Bellbrook. I got the email from her. It's so weird that worked out. It says, Happy New Year. I've been meaning to send you this since Christmas, but kept forgetting. On December 21st at the Taco Bell in Wilmington Pike, a couple of teenagers decided to have fun in the newly snow-covered parking lot. Unfortunately, they lost control, and they ran right into a Taco Bell. And she included the pictures. And we didn't have that in our list. We didn't see it in the news, but she had the photo proof. So 2022 is now 81. And I think we could probably close the book on 2022. We finished with 81. Now, that's up from 47 from the year before. Up from 2020 when we had 70. Though 2019 we had 111. So, look, I think if we can keep it under 100, that's doing pretty good. But 81's not hateful. 81's not hateful. And then today we had our first one. And this happened, and this is why it was so concerning to me. This just happened a few doors down from WHIO on South Main Street. 2 buildings over. I think it's 2 buildings. It's our building, and then there's the realtors building, the local realtors board or whatever, and then the building next to it. I think that's right. Or maybe there's another one. Oh, I think there's a bank in there somewhere. Either way. 3 or 4 buildings down. It wasn't far. Wasn't far. I bet if you were outside, if somebody was outside having a smoke, they would have heard it here at the building. This hit the Dayton Foundation building. So that is number 1 for the year. And I'll tell you what, the pictures are on WHIO.com. There's video of the damage. I saw some pictures actually taken from inside the building. And it was, I guess one person was injured, and it was the driver. So hopefully that's all the injuries there were. But the picture was taken from inside the building that I saw, and they crashed into an office. And the picture was from in the hallway outside of that particular office, and the front window next to the door going into the office has the worker's name. Whoever it was, her name's, I'm not going to say it. It's Michelle, but I'm not going to say anything else. But her name was on the window, and you see all this debris. And my first thought was, oh my gosh, I hope she wasn't in there. I hope, oh my gosh. I don't know what happened. I don't know what led to it, but that was our first one for the year. 937-457-1290, real quickly. Missy and Bellbrook, thank you for the update on the car tally.
Oh, yeah, no worries. This was kind of interesting how I called just at the right time, but you were talking to the sculptor earlier about the Cheez-It.
Yeah.
And I was just thinking if we do have to raise money, we could always raffle off that sculpture.
Oh, yeah, that wouldn't be a bad idea because you make a sculpture of the model, and then you have a statue cast from it, and then you've got the sculpture.
Exactly. Yeah, and you could use that to raffle off. That's just what I wanted to say. So
and then we.
I'm so glad you're.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm so glad you're back.
Oh well, thank you.
Bored to death. I'm sorry that you were sick. but it's just been driving me crazy not being able to hear your voice every night.
Well, I appreciate that. I'm back tonight. Tomorrow there is a UD game, but then I'm back Wednesday and Thursday, and then Friday there's a UD game. So this is just a tough time of the year. We've got basketball, and people want to hear that, so that's fine. Whatever. But we'll be through it here shortly.
There you go. Well,
all right.
Have a great night. Thank you.
Sure thing, Missy. That line's open, 937-457-1290.
It's the Evening Edge with Todd Hollst.
Call Todd now, 937-457-1290, or message him at Evening Edge Todd.
Locally grown, seriously funny on WHIO.
You left Todd behind the sofa.
The Evening Edge with Todd Hollst.
Call Todd now, 937-457-1290, or message him now at Evening Edge Todd.
Often irreverent, seriously funny.
Back here on the Evening Edge, Monday through Friday from 6 to 8. During that break, I was corrected. I do have a show Friday night. I guess I was reading the schedule wrong. It happens. I'm old. Well, I'm getting older. And I'm recovering from COVID. Lost my smell, my taste. Apparently my vision is also blurry. I wanted to mention this just real briefly, and this is important. I mean, really important. I saw this story today on WHIO.com, and apparently in 2019, there was a Fisher-Price product recalled. They recalled 4.7 million rock and play sleepers. When they made this recall, there were 30 fatalities related to the rock and play sleeper. And they made that recall on April 12th, 2019. But apparently, since that time, since 2019, in April, there have been approximately... Let's see. Since the recall, approximately 70 additional fatalities have been reported. So, that's been recalled. But people are still using it. And I don't know if people didn't see the recall. But that's crazy. At the time of the recall, over 30 fatalities were reported to have occurred in the rock and play sleepers after the infants rolled from their back to their stomach or side while unrestrained or under other circumstances. Since the recall, approximately 70 additional fatalities have been reported, which includes at least 8 fatalities that were reported to have occurred after the initial recall announcement. Well, that's a little confusing the way it's written, but the point is, don't use these. So if you're a parent or a grandparent and you know that your child or, grandchild or whoever, niece, nephew, has one of these Fisher-Price rock and play sleepers, check it out. Make sure that's not the one that's been recalled. It's crazy that this was recalled in 2019 and there's still been that many, sadly, deaths related and connected to it. But you can find that at WHIO.com. Also, this was kind of sad. Over the weekend, I saw that actor Adam Rich died. Now, Adam Rich was on a show back in the late 70s and early 80s. He was Nicholas Bradford on 8 is Enough. And that was one of my favorite shows growing up. And he was a great character, and he was a kid actor. I think he was on another show prior to that as a child, but that was the one where he kind of became well known. And he died at the age of 54. I haven't seen yet how, but I know in the past he had substance abuse problems. Was it that, Will? Has they...
They didn't say what the specific cause of death was, but
right.
There's no foul play involved.
Okay, so it could be natural, it could be self-inflicted, or it could be an overdose of some sort.
Right.
Or an accident, something like that. We don't know. But he was on that show from 77 to 81, and I guess a couple of years ago, VH1 came up with the 100 greatest kid actors of all time, and he was number 73. Now, I didn't see the list. That was just part of the story. Be curious to know who the number one child TV actor was on that list. I mean, I would never think that he was at the top, but I was trying to think about this, like who would have been the top child actor of all time? I'm going to say on TV. I don't want movies. I mean, surely everybody, movies, people are going to say Macaulay Culkin or Shirley Temple but I was thinking TV-wise, Gary Coleman, the late Gary Coleman. He'd be hard to beat. I mean, the Brady Bunch cast, they were pretty good. But Gary Coleman was something else. And I don't know, do you count Jimmy J.J. Kid Dynamite Walker in that? I'm not sure. Maybe you've got an idea who the best childhood actor was of all time. 937-457-1290.
The Evening Edge with Todd Hollst.
Call Todd now, 937-457-1290, or message him at Evening Edge Todd.
Locally grown, seriously funny on WHIO.
Well, let's not stand on ceremony, mate. Let's start the show.
It's marvelous.
Are you ready for our rendezvous?
He's got a sexy voice. He might be cute.
Ready for the fun part?
Oh, yeah.
Because here comes the fun part.
Hit the radio.
It's the Evening Edge with Todd Hollst.
Call me at 457-1290.
Locally grown, seriously funny on WHIO.
Funny guys are dangerous. They'll make you laugh and laugh and laugh, and then boom, you're naked.
It is the Evening Edge, Monday through Friday, 6 to 8. Coming up this hour, I got the wrap-up stories of the year for 2022. Got the top stories from Florida man, Florida woman, dumb ways to die, naked news, damn it dog, and celebrity slammer. Hopefully we'll have time to get all that. Also got to talk about this story of this guy who left his wife behind while they were traveling. I really would like to know if that's ever happened to somebody. I mean, not intentionally. Well, I'll just mention it here. The guy in Thailand, he, air quotes, accidentally left his wife behind at a rest stop. Well, it wasn't even really a rest stop. This guy in Thailand, a couple weeks ago, it happened during the holidays. 55-year-old guy and his wife were traveling, and the man pulled over to the side of the road because he had to take a leak. Now, she was asleep in the back seat when he pulled over, stopped the car, got out, went and found some bushes, and was doing what he needed to do. While he was out of the car, wife woke up, and she realized, oh, he must be, taking a leak. And if you're traveling, when you stop in those instances, it's a good idea to, my dad used to always say, it's a good idea, just get out, take care of whatever you need to, because you don't know when you're going to be able to stop again. So she got out of the car, went and found her little area of bushes and shrubs, and she started taking care of what she had to take care of. Well, when she came back after tinkling, the car was gone. The car and her husband had left the scene. And what's more is that she had no money, and her cell phone was in the car. It was a little before 5 a.m., and she was out in the middle of nowhere. So she started walking. After about 13 miles of hiking in the dark, she reached a police station and asked for help. But here's the other part of this, and I'm guilty of this as well. I have to think hard about it. She couldn't remember her husband's phone number. That's happened to a lot of people. You think, oh, come on, how could... Oh, it's very easy. If the phone number is programmed into your phone, you don't necessarily remember it. That happens to some people. But they eventually tracked him down, and he had already traveled 100 miles before realizing she wasn't in the back seat. And he had to turn around and come get her. Wow. So I'd be curious to know if anybody has accidentally left a family member behind at a rest stop or a restaurant. I mean, I could totally see how that would happen. It's the middle of the night. He was probably tired. She was, it was dark. You get in the car. It's dark. You don't, somebody's sleeping in the back. You don't want to disturb them. I can see that happening. You could also see it happening if you've got like a large family, right? If you're traveling and you've got 5 or 6 kids and you all stop at a Shoney's, and you get back into the car, you start heading down the road. Where's Bobby? What happened to Bobby? Keep going. 937-457-1290. Larry in South Dayton. What's up, Larry?
Hey, how you doing?
Good. What's shaking, man?
Good. I got a couple of good names for you.
Oh, we were talking about childhood actors, sadly. Adam Rich from Eight Is Enough.
Opie Taylor would probably be one of the best.
Oh, yeah. That's a good one.
He's probably the most successful all the way through his career.
Yeah, I would say, yeah. I mean, I would say.
And then you got Webster.
Emmanuel Lewis.
Yep. And then you got the guy on Rifleman. The kid on Rifleman was a really good actor.
On which one?
Rifleman.
The Rifle. I don't remember. I don't know who that was.
Oh, year before your time.
Yeah. I mean, I remember hearing about the show, but I don't know who it was. But I thought Gary Coleman was pretty good. For my generation, I think Gary Coleman may have been like the one child actor, TV actor, right, who really made a huge splash. I mean, everybody was like, "What you talking about, Willis?"
There's so many of them, though.
Yeah.
You probably go on forever.
I got you. Thanks, Larry. David Brian Walker in Springfield.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
I was told that I had to use all 3 of your names.
Well, you didn't have to.
Oh. He said you were very adamant. I thought David Brian. Usually when you hear guys with 3 names, they're like assassins. Mark David Chapman.
Yeah.
John B. Hinckley. That kind of thing. But anyway. Yeah. Can you turn your radio down, by the way?
Yes, sir.
Please do. I appreciate that.
Folks, when you call in, turn your radio down.
All right, go ahead. What's up, David?
I had the Ron Howard answer, too.
Oh, Ron Howard. Yeah, that's... Well,
Opie.
I mean, yeah. That he has a very storied Hollywood career. There's no question about it. He's good. He's good.
I also wanted to tell you the drummer during Christmas, he would have played in the Garden of Eden for Jesus.
The drummer?
Yeah. Remember the drummer that called in Christmas?
The drummer. Are you talking about the little drummer boy?
Yeah. And a drummer called in.
I vaguely remember that. I don't remember that right offhand.
Wondered what song he would play for Jesus. It would have been
Rock and Roll All Night by Kiss?
No, In the Garden of Eden.
by
Iron Butterfly.
You mean Inagata Davida?
Yeah, but it was really supposed to be in the Garden of Eden.
So a parody from the time of Christ. All right, cool. Thank you, David. Greg in Dayton, what's up?
Hey, I was looking up the 100 greatest childhood. It says movie and TV stars.
Okay.
And actually, number 1 was, what's his name? Haley Joel Osment.
Oh, Haley Joel Osment. Oh, from I See Dead People.
Yep, he never did much after that show either.
Well, let's see. He was before that. You know who he was?
He was in The Sixth Sense.
But before that, he was Forrest Gump Jr.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah,
I'm Forrest Gump. Yeah.
That was movie and TV stars. So
yeah, I got you. Thanks, Greg. I appreciate it. Bethany in Bell Fountain, what's up?
Hi.
Hi.
Hello?
Yep. Hello.
Yeah, I've got a potty story. My former in-laws, they're both gone now. But one time, it was so funny. The family all grandkids, etc., all laugh about it. She needed to go potty.
Yeah.
We're out in the middle of nowhere, so he puts it, shuts the car off, or doesn't shut it off, but...
Sure, pulls over.
Right.
Yeah.
And she gets out to go, and then slams the door, and he thinks she got back in.
Oh, and he takes off.
Down the road without her and her with her pants down. And she pulled her pants up as best she could to her knees and come running and hollering, and he finally looked back and seen her waving in the distance.
Wow. Well, that's a good...
I think that's funny.
That is funny. I'm glad it didn't happen to you, though, Bethany.
Oh, that's right.
Have a good one. I appreciate your call. Tim and Lima, what's up, Tim?
Hey, welcome back, Todd, and
thank you.
Happy New Year.
Thank you.
As far as child TV actors go, I was thinking about Ron Howard as well, but I also thought of Jerry Mathers.
Now, here's what I would say. Yes, he played a very iconic character, but I don't remember him on any... Was he on any other shows as a kid?
As the Beaver, I don't believe so. I believe he just stuck with the Beaver.
Right. I know
so
I mentioned TV specifically, but even I said Gary Coleman. And remember, Gary Coleman was in not a great movie, but it was... I remember watching it, and I enjoyed it because it had NBA players in it, and it was The Fish That Saved Pittsburgh. Do you remember that movie?
Not at all.
Oh my God, it was awful. But there was a bunch. He ends up, if I recall, The Fish That Saved Pittsburgh. I think he ended up as I don't know, was a coach? Like he ended up coaching a team. I don't know. It was something weird. Somebody will remember it, but yeah. But I always liked him. He was a good one.
And one time I got left behind. Me and my buddy went to a concert, and I guess we both got kind of hammered there.
Yeah.
And after the concert, we were looking for each other, but we couldn't find each other. And so I guess he just, thought
screw it, I'm out of here.
Right? Yeah. Exactly. So I ended up there at the bar. I guess that's what you would call it, or the venue. And ended up having to beg somebody for a ride back home about 30 miles.
Wow. Yeah,
that was not fun.
Yeah, it was before Uber, for sure. All right, Tim, I appreciate your call. Have a good one. Now line's open, 937-457-1290. I'm sure somebody, they may not admit it, but they have left a family member behind accidentally. When you're out traveling, maybe you didn't make it all the way down the road, but maybe you started to pull out, and you're like, okay, you're taking the route or the roll call, and you don't hear somebody speak up. Could be. 937-457-1290.
It's the Evening Edge with Todd Hollst.
Call Todd now, 937-457-1290, or message him at Evening Edge Todd.
Locally grown, seriously funny on WHIO.
Why wouldn't you just get another burrito, Todd?
The Evening Edge with Todd Hollst.
Call Todd now, 937-457-1290, or message him now at Evening Edge Todd.
Often irreverent, seriously funny.
Back here on the Evening Edge, Monday through Friday from 6 to 8. Wow, we've got a number of calls. People who were left behind by their family or friends. Hopefully, they're all accidental. 937-457-1290. We'll get to those in 1 second here, but we have a new feature. Very excited about this. Ohio Man.
He's Ohio Man, causing chaos is his plan, breaking all the laws, on the run from dusk to dawn.
Now, I maintain maintain that Ohio man is giving Florida man a run for his money, and I've got 4 stories right here. I'm not going to do all 4. I'm going to savor these. I've got one good one here, and this happened over the holiday. I saw this happened in Athens County, Ohio, of course, home of Ohio University. Sheriff's deputies there arrested a 50-year-old man, they say, illegally used a debit card that he says he found. Now, not a big crazy story, right? I mean, bad people out there, they find credit cards, they find a wallet, they find a purse, and they rifle through it, and they go on a shopping spree. It happens all the time. But this guy, he found the card outside of a business and went immediately inside to make a purchase. What do you think he purchased? Now, my wife, we talked about this, and she had a good theory on it, and I didn't get it right away. It was a small purchase, and she says he just did it because he wanted to make sure that the card worked, right? So that makes sense. You don't go in and try to buy a $500 whatever. You go in and you try to buy something small. But what he purchased got him caught. Somehow they figured it out in the moment. Said, oh, wait, this isn't you. They called the cops and they arrested him. He purchased a 34-cent sucker. And I'm guessing this was like one of the suckers at the, the checkout lane. You go through and you got the candy and the gum and and what's funny in the story, it says he tried to make a purchase, a 34-cent sucker, in parentheses, in the story, also known as a lollipop. But that is Florida man quality crime, right? The kind of crazy thing that a Florida man would do. Ohio man is doing the same. So that's our new feature. Did you like that open, by the way?
He's Ohio man, causing chaos is his plan. Breaking all the laws, on the run from dusk to dawn.
Took me all of 5 minutes to put that together. Sandy in Dayton, what's up, Sandy?
Well, I wasn't left behind, but when I was little, we always pitted my dad because on vacations he would have us count how many were in the car before we left.
Ah.
One year we had an exchange student, and we were in Washington, D.C., and most of us wanted to go one way, and she wanted to go see something else.
Yeah.
And so we all split up, and we got in the car to leave, and he had us count, and we were missing one because he forgot that she went the other place. So it actually can happen, and we never made fun of him after that.
And never saw the exchange student again. Am I correct? Is that how the story ends?
We got her back.
Where was she from, by the way?
She was from the Netherlands.
Oh, wow. I had a friend in high school who was an exchange student from the Netherlands.
Really?
Yeah.
It was great. We still see each other every once in a while, and it's just like no time has passed.
Oh, well, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
What a cool experience. I appreciate your call. Paula in Lima. What's up, Paula?
Hey, what's up?
How are you?
Fantastic.
Now, were you left behind by your family?
I was. I come from a family of 9.
Well, see, this is what I'm saying. It can happen with a big family and a lot of kids.
Well, it does, but actually, I was left at my ballet class when I was like 5.
Oh.
And they locked up the building and everything, and my mom, nobody in the family noticed it till like 10 o'clock at night.
So mom thought maybe dad was picking you up, and dad thought mom was picking you up, and nobody picked you up, and then
No. And I was hiding under the table crying, and she's like, "What? This Callie and I just figured everybody was home," and I was left like I was only little, hiding under the table in the dark, and then now I realized I was like, man, I was gone for like 6 hours and nobody even noticed.
Wow.
Second to the, I know.
And now you said they figured it out around 10 o'clock. Was it because it was bedtime and they were putting the kids to bed and they realized, wait a second,
idea.
where's Paula? Where did Paula go?
Yeah, she's supposed to make dinner for everybody. Where's she at?
Now, see, if you were coming from a dance class, I bet.
Yeah, like I was.
Well,
at
see,
ballet.
this is the way my goofiness works, Paula. I'm thinking that if you weren't a ballet dancer and you were a tap dancer, then they would have recognized that you weren't there because you could have gone home and practiced your ballet moves and nobody would know. But if you were a tap dancer and usually after your class they'd hear, tap 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 tap, and then there was missing. Maybe then I don't know.
Yeah, I'm thinking.
That's the way I would have written the story.
Yeah, it was like, wow. And then I don't even know how my mom knew I was like, somebody just opened the door, and I was like, no, nobody's there, and it was horrible.
Now, did you? Okay, well, hold on. Now, you were hiding.
And I'm still the forgotten child, actually.
Oh no! Do it, Paula? Do we need what? Do you need a hug? You need a hug? Oh,
but I'm lost right now. I don't know where I am now.
You're lost?
No.
Oh.
No.
Okay.
All my family's down south.
Oh, okay.
I'm up here all by myself.
So much was happening in this phone call right now.
I'm sorry.
No. That's okay. So I just want one more point with you being left behind, not to dwell on it, but you said at 10 o'clock is when they figured it out. Now, and you were hiding under a table at the ballet school?
Yeah, like they closed up and locked up.
So they closed up and nobody noticed that you were under a table?
Well, I wasn't under a table then. I don't really remember what I was doing. Probably changing or something. So I just hid under the table.
Wow.
When I was like, and it was down in North Carolina, just a little town down south. So it was like,
wow.
Maybe they'll come get me.
Traumatized. Now, do you have? Did it traumatize you? Did it leave you scarred? Do you have fear of being left behind someplace?
No, it just. Yeah, I just know where I stand in the family of 9. So I get to the last.
Oh, Paula, my gosh!
I know, it's horrible.
I feel awful for you. What can I do?
I'm 59 now.
Okay, well, I'm trying to figure out what I could do to make you feel better.
Well, I listen to your show every night, so that's great.
Oh, well, I'm glad that I can make you feel better that way.
Okay.
All right, Paula, take care. There you go. Boy, I kind of feel bad for Paula. Left behind as a child. Feels left behind as an adult. She feels lost. But she listens to this show to bring her some happiness, so that's good.
The Evening Edge with Todd Hollst.
Call Todd now, 937-457-1290, or message him at Evening Edge Todd.
Locally grown, seriously funny on WHIO.
Be of good cheer and call me.
Call me now!
Call me! He's laughing at us right on the radio.
Least we could do is get him on the radio and talk to him.
It's the Evening Edge with Todd Hollst.
Call me at 457-1290.
Locally grown, seriously funny on WHIO.
Back here on the Evening Edge, Monday through Friday from 6 to 8. Just curious if people are lining up tonight at the few bookstores that we have left to buy Harry's new autobiography that comes out tomorrow. No?
Boring.
I have to admit, my wife is, she's kind of excited about it. She's watched the Netflix documentary. She watched the 60 Minutes interview last night.
Boring.
Lordy. 937-457-1290. We got some people who were left behind by their unloving families. I'm going to get to them in a second, but I want to go through this real quick. Just bear with me because I want to wrap this up. I want to move on to other things on Wednesday night. I'm not on tomorrow night. We got UD basketball. Stories of the year for 2022. There are 5 categories. Is that right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, 6 categories that I feature a lot on the show. And I just wanted to sort of recap my choice for the top stories in those categories for 2023. The first one, of course, is Florida Man.
Florida man shines with every single crime, stupefying and delicious. Some might even think fictitious. Florida man is always ambitious.
So this story happened in March. A Florida man found stuck inside a porta potty was arrested on drug charges after Collier County deputies found him screaming for help. 34-year-old man, and I remember doing this one, was found by a deputy. The man had a foot sticking out of the bottom of the porta potty. Cops reported when the deputy opened the bathroom door, they found a powdery substance in a bag that later tested positive for fentanyl, along with a syringe. So not only did he get stuck in the porta potty, which would be a memorable story, he also got busted for drugs. Now we have Florida Woman story. Florida Woman of the Year, 2023.
Smells of gin. She's really wild, yeah, doing it trailer style. She'll pull a razor, carries a taser.
That kind of hurts my voice. I haven't done that in a while.
She's the one Mama said stay far away from.
Yeah, she's a Florida woman. All right, this happened in May. 19-year-old Florida woman was arrested after fleeing and eluding a traffic stop. The woman refused to pull over, but when cops finally got her stopped and was taken into custody, she told arresting officers that, quote, getting arrested had been on her bucket list since high school. So congratulations, you crossed it off your bucket list. We have our Dumb Ways to Die story from 2022.
Dumb ways to die. So many dumb ways to die. Dumb ways to die. So many dumb ways to die.
And this story, I think, actually goes. This could be like one of the Hall of Fame dumb ways to die. And this was awful. This happened in August. A man touring a Dutch castle in the Netherlands died after he was hit with a 22-pound metal ball thrown by a competitor at the Open Highland Games. So this is a little bit like the hammer throw that maybe you've seen. They do that in Scotland. It's the same idea. It's a big metal ball on the end of a stick, and these big husky guys twirl around, and they throw this thing. Well, this guy who got hit by it wasn't even at the event. He was at a property next to where this was going on, touring some castle gardens. And this ball went flying over a wall and hit this guy in the head. And witnesses say that they saw the ball go flying over this wall. It was, I think, a hedge, disappear, and the next thing they hear is a woman screaming. That is a dumb way to die. How do you explain that to the family? So there you go, your number one dumb ways to die for 2022. Here's our number one naked news story for 2022.
Why are you naked? I didn't know you were naked.
He saw me naked.
I think we should get naked.
Be naked.
I am naked.
This happened in February. A Canadian woman got the fright of her life when she found a naked man had been living in the trunk of her car for 3 days. Imagine you're driving around, and every once in a while you notice something, you hear something, you're like, what? I don't know, it's weird. What am I hearing? The woman says she originally noticed some mud in the front seat of her vehicle that couldn't be explained. She assumed someone had tried to break in and spent the night. She didn't think much of it and cleaned the car before getting on with business as usual. It wasn't until 3 days later that she noticed windows were fogged up and heard a voice from the back say, "Hey!" She stopped, opened the trunk, found a naked man in her trunk, and he'd been there for 3 days. That is a naked news story of the year. Now we have a Damn It Dog. See, we're just wrapping this all up real quick.
Damn It Dog.
Get through it.
Damn it, dog!
Well, we all love our animals, especially our dogs, but sometimes they do some pretty disastrous things. A home in Parkville, Missouri went up in flames in June when a dog accidentally pawed the touch controls of a stovetop burner and sparked the fire. Local fire investigators say security video shows the mutt put its paws on the cooktop and activated the controls, igniting a pan that had leftovers in it. Fire crews rescued 2 dogs from the home and put out the flames. And our last story for 2022, Celebrity Slammer. Celebs going to jail. This happened in August, and this woman, and the only reason this is the number one Celebrity Slammer story is because it happened locally. Now, there were some other runners-up. Actor Ezra Miller, he was arrested a bunch of times in Hawaii. Gary Busey was arrested. Eddie DeZine, remember him? He was in Greece. He was Eugene. He also did the annoying voice in Polar Express. That little kid that talk like, yeah, him. Actor Michael Madsen was arrested this year. Tiffany Haddish. But this woman, Irene Bedard, she is the voice actress behind Pocahontas, Disney's Pocahontas. She was arrested in August in Greene County. And she's been busted there a couple of times. She's, I guess, got family there. She reportedly had to be separated from another woman by police after an argument escalated into a screaming match that led the arrested running into the street screaming without any regard for traffic. The cop said she had a strong odor of alcoholic beverage on her breath. So there you go. There are wrap-up of our top stories from some of our different features from 2022. 937-457-1290. Rob in Trotwood. What's up, Rob?
Hey, what's up, Todd?
You've been left behind by your unloving family?
I have, man. They left me cold, man.
Where'd they leave you?
Every Saturday when I was a kid, about 43 now. When I was 12, we was going to Marion's in Inglewood. Every Saturday we'd go.
Yeah.
And we'd get there about 9. I think they closed at 11, and we'd usually close them down. You know, we'd eat pizza and play games. And
sure, yeah, they had an arcade.
Yeah, and he'd have a couple beers, and then, you know, we'd head out, you know, and it wasn't, you know, most of the time a family member would meet us there or a friend of the family would meet us. And this particular night, we all gathered out there in the parking lot, and I was running up and down that hill behind there. There's a cemetery there, and I was running up that hill and back down that hill, and they were talking, and we were going to Meyer. Meyer had just opened up there in Inglewood not long before.
Right.
And it was open 24 hours, and it was, you know, kind of cool to go there and look around. So that's where we were heading. Well, my cousin, they pulled out, and they were gone, and I was still running up and down this hill while I seen my family gather in the car, and I was, well, they won't leave me. You know, so I ran up and down another time. Next thing I know, they're pulling out, and they took that parking lot's pretty big, and they went to the far corner of that other parking lot, you know, and I seen they were leaving me, man, and I took off running after the car, and I was running faster than I ever had in my life. I mean, I was booking. I almost caught them, and they pulled up to that red light there, and they stopped, and they made the turn. They left me, man. And wow. I ran back to Marion's there. I was upset, man. I was, you know, they left me. And
how old were you? How old?
I was about 12.
Oh, did you cry?
About 12. So my parents thought I'd left with my cousins. My cousins,
see,
they didn't have a care in their world. They figured I was with my parents.
Yeah.
You know, so they were both traveling separate. I was nowhere to be found. I ended up going back inside Marion's. I banged on the door. They let me in. And a couple that were working there, they ended up, you know, agreeing to take me to Meyer to meet them. So that, you know, meanwhile, my parents are walking around Meyer. My cousins are walking around Meyer. They haven't found each other yet. Nobody knows I'm missing. And I'm traumatized, man.
Were you crying?
I would imagine.
Yeah.
I'd like to say I wasn't, but I would guess I was.
Yeah. You know, I didn't get left behind, but I remember I was in a parade, and I was supposed to meet my parents at the end of the parade, and right. I finished the parade, and I looked for him, and I looked for him, and I looked for him, and I didn't see him. So I started walking back towards the front of the parade, like it was on Dayton Xenia Road in Beaver Creek. And it ended at Beaver Creek High School. It started at Maine Elementary. So I started walking back towards Maine Elementary, and I didn't see him. And I was freaking out, and I was crying, and it was embarrassing. And finally, some guy that lived next to I had a friend who lived close to there, and they weren't home. So I knocked on the next door neighbor's house door, and I said, I'm lost, I can't, blah, 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 blah. And this guy took pity on me, and he drove me home. And I just happened to see my dad looking for me, you know, like 100 yards away. I picked him out of the crowd, and I found him, and that was a 15-year-old birthday that I'll never forget.
Poor Todd. right?
Yeah.
I didn't trust him for a while after that.
I wouldn't either.
I was like, you act like you didn't mean it, but I don't know. I was right there behind. You could have looked in the rearview mirror, you'd have seen me, man.
Yeah, I believe it. That'd freak out a little kid for sure. Rob, I appreciate your call. Justin and Xenia, what's going on, Justin?
Hey, Todd, I love your show.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that. By the way, I wasn't really 15 when I got lost and was crying. I was probably like 10 or 11.
You were 15 and you were crying. It's all right.
Okay, you got me.
No, hey, no, Todd, I had a story about my daughter got left. They made a trip. My daughter and her mother and boyfriend and my son, they went all the way out west, and she got left in a gas station in a small town in Wyoming, and they didn't know that she was missing until 45 minutes later.
So how did they figure it out? Did they just realize? First of all, what's your daughter's first name?
Elena.
So how did they figure out Elena was missing? Was it somebody just suddenly was like, wait a second, where's?
It was only my son in the back seat, and they blamed it on him for not saying, where's Elena? But
so this was probably contrived. It's like it was an honest mistake that Elena got left behind, but then brother said nothing.
He said nothing. Yeah. He didn't even notice.
Wow.
But honestly, Todd, the reason I called, I thought that the whole segment was hilarious, but was because when you talked to the girl that got left at the dance class, and you said if you hadn't been in ballet, if you had been in tap dance, you were stomping your feet, and I listened to you all the time, and all I could think about, because I could hear it through my speakers in my truck, that you were stomping your feet, your giant feet in those flip-flops. and it was like you couldn't really hear it, but you could if you were listening. You were stomping your feet.
I was trying to reach. I was trying to.
All I could think about was you stomping your feet in those flip-flops, trying to make it that
Justin, I appreciate your call. Thanks for listening, man. Have a great night.
Yep, you too.
There you go. That line's open, 937-457-1290. I was interested in taking tap when I was a kid. I had some friends that took tap classes, but I just never was able to get my parents to pull the trigger to let me take tap. And I think it's the same reason they wouldn't let me play the drums. I think they figured I made enough noise on my own. They didn't need drums. They didn't need tap shoes or trumpets or anything like that. It was, here's a ukulele. Keep it quiet.
It's the Evening Edge with Todd Hollst.
Call Todd now, 937-457-1290, or message him at Evening Edge Todd.
Locally grown, seriously funny on WHIO.
Oh, Todd texted me again. What a loser.
The Evening Edge with Todd Hollst.
Call Todd now, 937-457-1290, or message him now at Evening Edge Todd.
Often irreverent, seriously funny.
Back here on the Evening Edge, Monday through Friday from 6 to 8. I saw this story. This is in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Police there recently arrested a porch pirate who tried to disguise himself by wearing red thong underwear over his face as a mask. And he was caught on a Ring doorbell camera stealing the package, and he had woman's thong panties over his face, thinking that wouldn't... that it'd make it hard for people to identify him, but they found him. I wonder, would you call that a panty raid? Kathy in Eaton. What's up, Kathy?
Hey there, Todd. Yeah.
Hey there, Kathy.
Glad you're feeling better. Can you hear me?
I can hear you just fine.
Great. I just have a quick story. When I was about 4, this dates me, back in the early 60s, my parents, my brother and I, we went to the Cox Municipal Airport.
Oh, yeah.
Which became Dayton International Airport.
Sure.
I was so mesmerized. But we were walking around looking at the displays inside the airport and everything.
Right.
And my mom was holding my hand. And I was just looking at this one display, and I was thinking, wow, that's really cool. And then I turned around, and my family wasn't there.
They were gone.
They walked off and forgot me. And I started crying, and the security guard came over, and this lady found me first, and she was going to take me home. And,
wow.
And then my mom got there just in time before the lady took me home.
No, wait. Hold on. Was this woman like feeling... I don't know. I mean, was she trying to be like a loving mom, concerned person?
So.
Like, I'm going to take you home.
About me.
Or was she like, come on, kid, we're getting out of here?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
My mom got there in time, but it didn't dampen my love for the airport, the planes. I'd make my parents take me out to Dogleg Road or wherever and watch the planes come and go, and we'd get on the deck. And I just loved watching
No,
the
I know.
airport.
You know what? Going to the airport, when I was a kid, I grew up in the 70s, and I think 70s and 80s, and the first time I was at the airport was probably, 78, 79, something like that. But I remember it was like a big deal. It was like so cool. And they had it was almost like a museum, and it was just really exciting to go to the airport. And now it just sucks.
Yeah, I know.
It's awful. It's awful. Why would anybody do that to themselves? I don't understand. Don't get it. All right, Kathy. Well, I appreciate you calling. Have a great night. And I'm glad that your parents and family came back and found you there at the airport and didn't take off to Hawaii and leave you behind. I don't know if they were going to Hawaii. I could have been the original Home Alone story, right? Well, I will be back on Wednesday night. There's a UD game tomorrow. I'll be back Wednesday, Thursday, and I misspoke earlier. I said Friday there's a UD game. There is, but the pregame doesn't start until 8 o'clock, so I will have a full show on Friday. So I'll be back here in a day or two. Of course, you can always listen to the podcast. EveningEdgeTodd.com, wherever you find your favorite podcasts. Have a great Monday night. We'll talk to you on Wednesday.
Well, show's over, folks. Thanks for coming.
Good show, old man.
Bravo. That was wonderful.
Game over, man.
Peace out.